Happy holiday, guys. Ziggy back with another video on our favorite topic, Sports Card Dad. I think I'm going to do a series just called Sports Card Dad WTF. Like, what the fuck were you thinking? I'm going to start real quickly. People are going, Ziggy, why do you keep bothering him? Why can't you let it go? Why do you hate him so much? I don't hate him. I think he's bad for the hobby. And he's an easy target to call out as far as a grifter in the hobby. Let me share with you real quickly. And forgive me for my setup. I don't have the audio and video, but listen to this video. This is from January 2nd, 2023. My favorite video.
I wish this video was some sort of comedy sketch. It's actually very embarrassing for me to make, really talking about how I believe I'm somewhat of a card addict, how I recognized it, and hoping to share with others to help other people that might have been in a similar situation or are in a similar situation. Stick around.
Okay, that video is probably a turning point for Dustin and I. I've always been critical of him, critical of a lot of people. I'm a critical person. But that video, I thought, was his ultimate example of his grift. My big criticism of Dustin is that he actually does not participate in the hobby, which is fine. Just own that. Or you're at least going to take, the shots from people who are going to call you out. I felt like he always came to the hobby not knowing anything about it, just knowing if I make a video every day and I talk about something, people will like me and I'll make a lot of money. I don't know how much money he makes, but he's definitely one of the larger influencers. I think he has 21,000 subscribers. I'm surprised he doesn't have a Patreon channel yet. I want to say I've had some influence in him not doing that. He'll launch one soon, though. That video on addiction, to me, was an example of Dustin, again, didn't have an addiction. He didn't have a sports card breaking problem. He wasn't flipping a lot of cards. He wasn't ripping wax. You can ask him all these questions. He doesn't rip wax. He doesn't get in breaks. So where's this problem from? He'll go on to say he was buying stuff and he just wasn't sharing it. He was just making that video to get people to view him. Now, again, 2 years ago, he didn't have the sponsors he had then either. After that video, that's his #1 video today, still his #1 video on the channel, his viewers took off and he was able to sign up a lot of sponsors. And I'll say this too, for the sponsors out there, look, I don't give a shit if you want to sponsor him. I will say when I watch it, you're sponsored by Dustin, it actually makes me consider not using your products. And I'm talking to ComC and DC87. I use both those products, but it's hypocritical, in my opinion, for you to pay a guy money who completely shits on you and your industry all the time. I'm going to play a video today from him. He basically just goes off telling it. The video is called "The Sports Card Hobby is Doomed." And my question again is, what the fuck are you thinking here? So let's listen to this. This is I find it very humorous. Again, forgive me for not being able to share the video with you. You can find the links. I just don't want to promote his video. I just want you to hear me rant about his intelligence.
Screen. All right, friends, it's clear that we are at a fork in the road, and we've, what do they call it, jumped the shark? We jumped the shark, and now we have gone head first. The industry is going head first like a runaway locomotive towards the gambling side of this hobby with sports card.
Just listen to that. We're at a fork, we've jumped the shark, and now we're going head first at this thing called gambling in the hobby. This is a perfect example. I'm just sitting there going, what the fuck, Dustin? How do you hit a crossroad, jump a shark, and go head forward? I thought if we're at a crossroad, don't we make a decision? And if you're going one way, can you let me know so I go the other? Because I don't think we're on the same road. You're clearly like on some delusional road where you think you know what the hell you're talking about and you don't. And the shark jumping typically happens when something has like peaked, it's over, it's climaxed. You know what that is, by the way? Anyway, my point is, what the fuck are you talking about? We're heading down a road of gambling? Is this new to you? Did you just wake up? Did you finally open a pack of cards and be in the back of the odds? Gambling has been a part of this hobby since the day it added chase cards, number cards, parallel cards, okay? Before that, value is derived from rarity. Well, if you save this card, Michael, in the future, you'll only be the only one who has one. But they printed 1 million, and everybody who had one thought they could save it too. So that's where the junk wax era failed, is that there was no rarity. Rarity, by the way, the only thing rarity in the 80s, 90s is the condition. If PSA says, oh, it's a really pretty card, then it's worth a lot of money. Think about that. Shit is so, I'm not even going to go off on it, but just, this is real practical experience talking to you. But again, his comments here, jumping a road, crossing, gambling. Yes, Dustin, I'm going to tell you right now, and here's something everybody knows this. The modern hobby is gambling. Now, you have to ask yourself, he's going to go on a rant about this, do you want to guide people in the right direction? Do you want to put some brakes on there, maybe self-regulate? Or are you just going to sit there on the side and cry and whine? You remind me, by the way, of the current administration leaving, who just sat there whining and crying but never did anything. You don't do anything. You have no solutions, no ideas, no plans. You just sit there and whine. There are plans. The reason I'm part of a breaking company is because I believe breaking is the future, and I believe I can make a positive influence on directing where I want breaking to go and what I want my breaking to be like, okay? And I'll also say this too, breaking is not it's not the same across the board. The breakers and whatnot are not the same as the guy breaking on Facebook with his mom and dad or his brother and his cousin. There's a lot of different people doing the breaking. So you need to stop casting such a wide net, you idiot. More from Dustin.
Breaks and repacks and razzes and carnival games and all the other crap.
Let's move on to the next topic.
Okay, so this is interesting. He goes ahead here and he clips in here Sports Card Madness. I'm a huge fan of Sports Card Madness. Listen to the clip that he does use, by the way.
A good friend who was very, very into cards. Very into cards a year ago. Big into breaks. Doing breaks every single night. Almost overwhelmed with the amount of cards that they had. They were buying on eBay. They were buying at shows. He doesn't even know what to expect. Yeah, he doesn't even know what to expect. And you fast forward a year later, and he's pretty much out of cards. Yeah. We talked to him this summer, and what did he do? He's like, I've been in cards so much in figures. And how many more people are out there like that, Nick? How many more people were chasing the heat a couple years ago and are just like completely out of it now?
I saw it firsthand.
Okay, he saw it firsthand. But before I let Dustin tell you about how he saw it firsthand, let me comment on Sports Card Madness video. It's a little fast there. It's 2x. You're listening secondhand. They basically talk about a friend they had that in the hobby last year was very active. He was on a lot of breaks, and now he's not as active anymore. When they saw him, they said, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm not in cards anymore. I'm doing my sneakers again. I'm doing this, whatever, but I'm not in sports cards. Now, is that horrible? Is that really horrible? It definitely could be worse. It could be, I'm living in my truck. My wife left me. I have no kids. Blah, blah, things are shit because I'm a gambling degenerate addict. That's not what he said, okay? In fact, the sneakerhead thing reminds me, that's exactly what we saw in the 2000s. It's crossover from people in a different genre coming to sports cards, chasing this flip, this high, this rush. Money, okay? If you have a bunch of sneakers in your closet you're holding because you can make money off it, that's no different than me holding a bunch of cardboard in my closet. These are similar markets. I think, again, we need to pay attention to that. Now, I'm not saying, again, it's all rainbows and unicorns, but guys, we watch the World Series of Poker on TV, right? You guys cheer for, sports on the weekends. How many of you are in fantasy football tournaments? You can't sit here from your glass house, throw rocks at this breaking, going, oh, breaking's the evil gambling, when all you're doing is you're doing some other type of gambling in some other form. I'm in a fucking fantasy league with this knucklehead here. By the way, I have a $100 bounty. Every time somebody beats him, I give him $100 in break credit. I'm beating him. That's how much I love making this guy think.
At this past national. Now, I'm not going to say this is the first time I've ever seen it. Of course not. Going back to the last few nationals, I've been to the last 4, and it's been growing. It's been growing over time. The breaker pavilion, it just keeps on getting bigger. Is there a place for breaks in the sports card hobby? Of course. If we go back to really what started breaks in the first place, just buddies getting together on an expensive box. Granted, not as expensive as today, but buddies.
A couple things. I want to repeat what he said. He said, well, I've been in the sports card thing for a while, and I've been watching it firsthand get bigger and bigger. I've been to 4 nationals in a row. Oh my God. Makes me want to just laugh. Dustin never went to a national until he was told to go to the national in 2020. In 2020, everybody sat from home and told him, you got to go to national, you got to go to nationals. He went to 21, 22, 23, and 24. Okay, that's his 4 nationals. He's never been to national before that. He didn't know the national existed, or if he did, he never chose to go. I went in 2016. I think if you went before 2020, you're a real hobbyist. If you didn't go until you were told to go, well, then I think you're counterfeit. Now, you can earn your creds. Yeah, welcome to the hobby, guys. Thanks for being here. But don't sit here telling me you know what the national's about when you've been in the last 4 ones, which have been totally different than the previous 10 or 20. God, it just drives me crazy. And his arrogance, too. Just, well, blah, 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 blah. Dustin, you're fake. Now, I can understand, though, again, as a new person coming to the hobby, you watch this chucklehead and you go, man, he's been to the national 4 times. He's a sports card dad. He must know what he's talking about. Now, let's go.
He's getting together and pulling money and like, hey, let's pull some money together and buy a flawless box or prism case or whatever it was. Well, now, of course, it's a drastically different world, isn't it? Now, all the new product gets eaten up and then it goes on the secondary market and more breakers buy it and more breakers buy it. And look, there's obviously a lot of demand if you have all of this stuff being bought up by breakers at exorbitant prices and then resold in break spots to people. People are buying into the breaks, so they must be enjoying themselves at least for the first little bit.
So again, he just described what's a natural marketplace. People buy up a product that has demand. You can buy it as an individual, you can buy it as a breaker, you can buy it as a person buying in the breaks. Let me walk this through with you guys. If you're participating in the modern day hobby, how do you want to get into cards? I'm going to use the scenario. I want to buy the Cincinnati Reds because I like an LA De La Cruz card. Now, I could go out and chase retail at the local stores. I could go on Facebook and pay a little more and buy it aftermarket. I could buy off of eBay. I could buy a full box. These are all full box options. Maybe I buy a pack. Maybe I'm waiting for singles to come out. I'm waiting for singles. I'm waiting for the grade. Maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I want to get the most value out of my dollar. Maybe I realize that a hobby box might cost $500, but I can get the Reds in an entire case for $500. So I feel like I get greater value out of going after that. It comes back, in my opinion, to experience. I think experience drives this in different directions. Let me tell you why. When I got in the hobby, it was back in 2015. Market was crazy. Everybody was complaining back then about how expensive the stuff was. Excalibur was a product available at retail for $35 a box. Really cool product. My kids loved it. We could never find it, so we started buying it at Dave and Adams, Steel City, and Blowout. Then I found out that those guys had these things called breaks, where I could just buy the Warriors, I could buy the Thunder, and that to me is what my kids wanted. So I got more value out of my dollar. I got better odds, better hits. When I hit something, I was saying something good. When I didn't, I moved on to the next one. Right? I understood what this was. I understood it was a form of gambling, but I also understood that the entire sports card modern market is a gamble. It's a risk. It's a chase. There's things called checklists, and I know I'm speaking really fast. I got so much data to get out to you in a short period of time. My point to this, again, if you have experience, if you participate in this hobby, you understand these things. I also understand the trickle-down effect, the cards that I get in breaks, what I do with them, who they go to, how they help set collectors fill their sets. Back in the day, I used to help set collectors. If you had a card you wanted, I had the base card, I'd send it to you for free. People know me. Ziggy know on Facebook. You know who I'm talking about, right? This counterfeit card content creator has to be called out. Okay, and he won't listen to anybody with rationality. And by the way, he's going to go on to tell you that you should call out the breakers and breakers. Somebody, guys, Neo, you need to call him out. You need to say, look, Dustin, you're making me look bad, dude. You don't do anything. You're dragging us down. Man, flipping Steve, I don't know why you have this guy on your back. Get him off your back. Tell him to get off on his own. Now everybody's like, oh, Dustin's nice. I don't mean to Dustin. Guys, Dustin sends out FUD in the industry. His whole goal is to get subscribers, views, so he can sell it to his sponsors. That's it. He's not here to make the hobby better. If you were Dustin, make some better content on how it gets better. You're going to tell us later on you're going to get into quality collecting content. Great. Stop with the hate content. Go to his content page right now. It's all doom and gloom. Black backgrounds for like the last two and a half months. It's doom and gloom. Everything's bad. Everything's negative. I know why, by the way, it's like that. I recently got involved in sports card breaking. Dustin's not like me. He doesn't like me because I call his shit out. I see him in the room taking his shit on the carpet, and I go over there and I say, dog, you can't poo on the carpet, man. You can't do that. Take that outside. And I'm the only one doing it. And you guys know what I'm talking about. He poops on the hobby every day. He runs his mouth not knowing what the hell he's talking about. Poop, 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 poop. Guys, Dustin, keep pooping on. It's entertaining to many of us. We've really got to the point where you are the joke of the hobby. You are a laughingstock. I'll be honest, there's no one who adds less value to this hobby than you do, Dustin. I'm not kidding. You can go hate on, I can say my old nemesis's card ladder have much more value in this hobby. Well, that's an easy one than Dustin ever added. Okay, Jeff Wilson, much more value in the hobby than these guys ever added. And again, and Jeff is one of the most polarizing figures in the hobby. Again, who else in this hobby adds as little value as Dustin does? Please go ahead. And I know my haters will say, Ziggy, you had no value. Yeah, you know what? Suck this, buddy. I had plenty of value. Let me go on. I love my rant.
Don't have an issue with new people coming into the hobby.
No issue.
Tons of marketing, whether it be YouTube or IG or athletes getting involved, big companies, fanatics. Everybody's got stuff out there. Mainstream media is picking up huge sales. The last 4 years has seen tremendous push marketing of this particular space. The sad part is that a lot of people, they come into the space and they're like, oh, cool, how do I get new product? And then they realize that the main distribution method nowadays is through a gambling product, through a break, or I've got to buy into this mystery box or repack thing. Isn't that sad?
We have a good...
Why is that sad, Dustin? And why do you think it's the only way? Again, everybody, you're allowed to go to the fucking store and spend money at the Walmart. If it's there, go buy it. And a lot of places it's there. You can go to the local hobby store and pay more than you would if you got it direct online. Heck, you can go direct online and get it. And Dustin, you don't understand this, but the EQL system lets you actually buy it at the cost price. You can do that. There's many, many options for a consumer to get in the product. So what are you bitching about? Breaking is one of those. And people choose it for many reasons. It's entertaining. It's lucrative. It can be rewarding. It's better odds. I'm just dumb and want to give my money away because I'm rich. I don't know. But buddy, why are you so hateful? Again, you're the old administration. You want to force your beliefs down people's throats, right? You don't believe in free markets. You don't believe in small businesses. You don't believe in the mom and pops, the real hustlers out there. Look, how many channels in the last few years have leveraged breaking as part of their business, right? A lot of them do. And what, you're going to throw them all under the bus? Every one of them is just the devil. The devil. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this because he goes on a little rant here. Oh, love this one.
Also in a place where credit card debt has never been higher in the United States. I can't speak for globally, but in the United States, there's never been more credit card debt.
That's personal finance debt.
So everybody's leaning into this. And that's what I guess is really disappointing for me is there's long-time hobby companies, hobby people that have been in this for decades, and they really don't speak up that much about this that I hear anyway. Now, granted, I'm not listening to all the hobby content. Frankly,
the dude doesn't listen to shit, let's be honest to him. But what is you saying there? What the fuck again, Dustin? Do you want ComC and DC87 and Vintage Breaks to not do breaking anymore? Do you not want them to support breakers? Because as a person who's involved in buying breaks and as a breaker, I use both those products. I send a lot of cards to ComC. I send a lot of cards to DC87. I donate a lot of cards to people. In fact, I'll give you another quick follow-up. Cards for Life. I'm going to do a follow-up video on this. I've got a huge box here of thousands of cards I'll be donating to them. It's a video that Dustin and his friends Off-Center did as a charity. I'm going to call attention to the fact Dustin can't even do that. He doesn't have anything to do with the hobby. He doesn't have cards in his office hanging out there. I have so many cards in my office, I can box them up and give them away. Dustin can't do that. He has to go out and buy cards. You have to break them out and show you that he has them on his, you know what I'm saying? He's so fake, it's ridiculous. Go on, Dustin. Tell us what you're going to do.
Lately, I'm certainly not listening to very much at all of it. But I just don't see enough people really leaning in and saying like, hey guys, this sucks. This really sucks.
This sucks.
So the fork in the road is we go, the gambling route, because look, that just feels like
gambling route.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
I'm going down that road. You with me?
Easy route, and that feels like that's where companies are like, easy profits. Let's go do the breaks and the repacks and the shenanigans. Let's go do that. Or there's actually built.
Let me just pause for a second. If again, so clueless and out of touch with what's going on in the world. You realize ESPN is a casino now. They have a betting service. The entire United States has commercialized gambling. It is not getting smaller. It is getting bigger. Is that good or bad? I'm going to tell you right now it's bad. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now it's bad. But that is the direction we're going on. On top of that, here's the real kicker, guys. The kicker, you're not going to believe this. The #1 rehab for a degenerate gambler is sports cards. It really is. Because you've been losing money on the craps table or betting the horses or the ponies. You come to sports cards because you get something back. You get a little PC. Maybe later on it's worth money. I cannot tell you how many degenerate gamblers I know who are rehabilitating in the sports card world. I could say I was at one point. I love gambling. I used to gamble a lot more. To me, sports cards are an easy gamble where I have a safety net on me, right? You really have to be, you have to be Dustin to fuck it up.
Building out more of the collector base. That is the other route where you put all your marketing into focusing around the actual cards themselves, the products that you're putting out, what's different about them, what's collectible about them, celebrating the history. We talk about Topps. They have tons and tons and tons, thousands and thousands of people that are buying vintage cards every single day, talking more about the history of what...
This idiot wants the companies to make products and market them around the... I mean, what are you talking about, dude? The entire industry is owned by fanatics. Go tell them to do that. All right, they marketed an entire product around Victor Wembanyama and Mercury. What were your thoughts on that? You didn't even know what it was, right? Besides, that's not the point. They're driven by profits. They're a for-profit company. We are collectors. We are hobbyists. You navigate it like a landmine. Some of these things are junk. Some of them are going to be collectible. That's the truth to this.
What the company has already done. Why is Topps an iconic brand? Does half the people in this hobby know that? Or are they just doing the slot machine?
Because they survived.
I honestly don't even think half the hobby even knows what the hell Topps is or how long it's been around or any of that stuff.
Why is that important?
Or Upper Deck or any of the other companies that have been making
Why is
cards
that
for a long
important?
time, iconic cards as well. It just feels like a giant waste. It really
Really?
does.
Why is that a
The
waste?
other part that
They
bothers
can
me
look
is
it
all
up.
you ever hear is the word collectors. Oh, we want collectors to get involved. Collectors this and collectors that. Half of this thing is a stupid gambling machine, guys. It's not collectors. It's gamblers. It's gamblers. I see a lot of these folks, they don't have any sort of a collection. It's just another widget. It's just another way for it to make money. They were doing some job and they figured out, oh my God, like we can do breaks. And that's where they're at.
Dude, most of the content creators at least research and have content of value. What the hell are you doing? Like, what are you... Oh, they're gamblers. They have nothing. They don't do anything. Just came here. You're just so bitter. It's hilarious. Keep going.
I literally never hear about any of these people collecting anything. Nothing. They chime in on the hobby and they're doing their take on the hobby or whatever on different...
I'm collecting his dreams. I'm collecting his broken memories. He wakes up in the morning just stressed on the comments I leave on his video. He got to the point where he's blocked me now. He's completely blocked me, which is funny. He runs his mouth about me, but cannot handle the feedback himself. Dude, again, cowardly content creator. Dustin, you're embarrassment.
topics, but they don't have shit. They don't have anything.
I got plenty of stuff, dude.
Break spot. Oh, yeah, but make sure
Anything
you're
you
here
want,
at 10
buddy.
p.m., 11 p.m. We're breaking bubble
I'm
gum.
giving break
Make sure
spots
you're there.
away to
It's
beat
just
you in
sad. It's
fantasy
just sad,
football.
especially thinking back to young people that think this is what our hobby is. Our hobby is a giant fucking...
Then tell them to get out, Dustin. Have the balls to say it's like the entire casino. The kids shouldn't be here. Go ahead and say it. I've said it. If you want, hey, make it all fucking a casino. It's 21 and older. I don't care.
Casino. That bothers me. It
Really?
really bothers me.
Bothers you, but
As I
you
said
do
in
nothing
yesterday's
about
video,
it.
I'm going to focus more heavily on
What are you
going
going to focus on?
nostalgic side.
Nostalgic.
I look at myself like, what
You can do a better
to
job.
help the situation? And that is what I'm going to do. Is I'm not going to... I know that people will call this kind of collector-based content. I'm not talking about why somebody collects a certain player. I'm not talking about what is in their collection, how they got started, because a lot of people have the same story as far as that goes. I want to go a couple of levels deeper than that, and I want to know what was going on during the time, what was going on in their life, stuff that binds collectors over a long period of time. That's the stuff. And it's came out of thin air. And now we've got a $200,000 bounty on it. We've got $1 million bounty on it. Everybody, look, there's plenty of people out to do that, and fantastic, good on them. And there's people that...
Hey, ComC, don't you guys ever put a bounty out, because Dustin does not like bounties. Okay?
just do a way better job of that. So if that's what the news is, I don't like have a care to really report on that every single week. It's boring.
But you whine about it every single day.
When are we going to actually build out more of a foundational piece in this hobby? When is it going to be really a real focus?
When are you going to leave then if you don't like it? You hate it so much. Why are you here?
And that's why it's gotten so popular. It's being legalized in all these different states. And so, of course, our hobby's going to follow that trend. But, man, if 10xing the hobby is leaning hard into the gambling side, then I hope we don't 10x the hobby. I hope we double the hobby over the next 20 years, doing it in a slow and steady manner. I'd rather do the marathon than do the sprint, and then everybody burns out, everyone's broke as hell, and they've got nothing to show for it because they just blew all their money on a stupid break. Or
again, breaking's been going on for like 15 years. Everybody's broke as hell and stupid as shit. I don't want to tell you, Dustin. I really don't. I don't even know why people listen to you. I don't know. I mean, I'm sitting here going, why do I listen to him? I think the answer, you guys, again, I get great views when I make videos about him. He is so, it's like so, this one does not belong when you're looking on the board of just fakeness and unauthentic. And it's just, it's low-hanging fruit. I guess that's the answer. He's low-hanging fruit. You're low-hanging fruit. Have a great day, guys. Like, comment, subscribe.